Oh, please, don't you rock my boat, 'cause I don't want my boat to be right. Oh, please, don't you rock my boat. Oh, no, 'cause I don't want my boat to be right. I'm telling you just I like it like this. So keep this just like this. And you should know by now. I like it. I like it like this. Yeah. Satisfy my soul. Oh yeah. Satisfy my soul. Every little action. There's a reaction. Oh, can't you see what you've done for me? Oh yeah, I'm happy inside all of the time. When we bend the new corner, I feel like a sweepstakes winner. When I meet you around the corner, you make me feel like a sweepstakes winner. Watch out. Can't you see? You must believe me. Oh, darling, I'm calling. Can't you see? Why won't you believe me? Oh, darling, I'm calling. When I meet you around the corner, oh, I said, baby, never let me be alone. 'Cause when you hold me tight, you make me feel alright. Yes, when you hold me tight, you make me feel alright. Can't you see? You must believe me. Oh, darling, I'm calling. Can't you see? Why won't you believe me? Oh, darling, I'm calling. Satisfy my soul. Satisfy my soul. Satisfy my soul. Satisfy my soul. That's all I want you to do. That's all I beg from you. Satisfy my soul.
We wake up every day to these tests as we strive to be great, and they keep coming, but we gotta persevere, y'all. Yeah. Thin line, mastermind, mind of the master. Which one of you after? Thin line, mind of a god, mind of a captain. Which one of you after? Thin line, quotient exceeded numerology. Scholar body honorary, school of prophet alum. Anthropomorphized lessons so I could become the heartbeat of righteousness. The everyday fight to pump the blood of kings, breathe the breath of life, moving up like Confederates in Yankee territories in the 17th century. But it's a thin line between divinity and iniquity. Mason Dixon hitting and complacent decisions. Division between symptoms of a phenom and a psychopath, gifted and asinine. I won't erase that vertical line on an incline that divides them. Climbing out this box in my mind, it's like having altitude sickness on alpine expedition. Genius vision never fixed in on the depth below. Focus on elevation where others never dare to go. And brainiacs ain't contained in that receptacle. Incredible creative energy becomes perceptible. The cerebral can be an evil alter ego or true vow, and you shall become legendary and futile. Development of a god. I sleep between dates on the calendar. Can't escape a date with a challenger. Now that's a blind date in the field division, but my other senses reveal I'm winning. Yeah. The thin line, mastermind, mind of the master. Which one of you after? Thin line, mind of a god, mind of a captive. Which one of you after?
Welcome to the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek.
And Cassiopeia.
And we have sitting in with us none other than the brother Toussaint Warren is with us today. I'm not Herb, and this is not his whiz. It is the green side of things. We need you to like,
comment,
and share. We need you to do it right now and invite some people around this lunch table today.
Yes.
Cassiopeia, what's happening?
What's up?
How are you?
I'm good. It's chilly.
It's chilly? Yeah, it's chilly. I woke up, I started to put shorts on. I was like, uh-oh, this is the wrong thing.
It's tired of slavery in the studio.
Yeah, it is.
Two, what's up, my brother?
Man, I'm blessed and highly favored, man. I apprate you all inviting me on.
Oh, absolutely,
man.
absolutely. So
They're braids. You
man, they on, aren't they?
Around here, you know what I mean?
You understand? It's not only the braids, but it's the 2 pounds of shellac that's on top of them.
It's not shellac.
Oh,
This
okay.
is
It's juices and berries. My bad. While I've used nothing but
There was
wild.
a lot of slave masters running through the houses back when my parents was around. My great-grands, you understand me?
Okay, all right.
So,
Slave.
you know.
Cassie, is it shellac or is it
That's
juices
the
and
black
berries?
gel.
Hey, wait.
Over there with that Yankee number 9.
Wait, it's damn. It's just like they said in Coming to America. That ain't nothing but ultra perm. So, anyway, listen, you all. This is our last episode before summer break.
We need a God
dog it.
Ron, you got a sound effect
Y'all
back
need
there?
Sonya for that kind of stuff. Ron doesn't do those.
Ron doesn't do that.
He's-
Okay.
DJ push button.
Oh, okay.
You know, just knows how to break. That's all he can do. It's my brother though. Tommy Buns.
Yeah,
That's all we got for you.
That's all we got. Okay, but
Yeah.
yeah. So the green side of things, we will be taking a summer break.
Yeah.
However, we
Yes.
will be putting a Facebook page together.
Yes.
And we will be dropping the link, and we will appreciate you all dropping into the green side of things Facebook page, where we will replay, along with the network, possibly some of our episodes. We've had, man, we just been through some things, Cassie. We've had the brother Eric Adams, who's running for mayor in New York, who happens to be a vegan. He's in a tight contested race and looks like he might be in front of it. So we've had the future mayor of New York on. We've had Dr. Malala Karenga on.
Yes, we have.
The founder of Kwanzaa.
Yes.
We've had documentary hosts on, black documentary and filmmakers. We've just been some of the brightest minds in Chicago, across the nation. So we've had a fabulous time.
We really have an excellent time, wonderful time. We've been international.
We've covered
Global.
We've covered Bahrain. We've had people on from Bahrain. We've done Belize.
Yeah.
We've done Israel. We've done Ghana.
Wow.
We've had. I mean, we have been
Dang,
all
I didn't
over
even
the
realize
place.
it like that, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like real talk. So we really appreciate the audience. We appreciate the network for allowing us to, because it's some real stalwarts on the network.
Yeah,
You've got
yeah.
the Maze Jackson show with the number one talk show, morning show in Chicago. You have bookend that with Wiz with Herb and Two.
Right.
Just intellectual thuggery at its finest. You've got Eugene and you've got T-Tom on the soil. My new favorite Black Sports Network. You've got Salim Mouakil. You've got you've got the Book of Dawn. Man, you've got even the weekend programming.
Yeah.
I did, I do, I don't, or I didn't. I hope I didn't get that right, but get it wrong. So you've got Wednesday night programming, which I think, we just left. You've got Brian Foster's show. You've got Chris the Critic. You've got Rista Ruler with his show. And it's just a fabulous grouping to be a part of. And we're appreciative to the network for accepting the green side of things.
Absolutely.
We know we're a little out of the box. I know people inbox me and like, Sadeek, I'm not doing it. I'm eating some pork today. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say about that plant-based stuff. So we just appreciate it, being able to bring a little different flavor.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to being back in the fall if you all will have us. But make sure, don't forget about us this summer. Drop a line, let Ron know. We're going to cut some new promos in the summer. Ron, you're going to play our promos, right?
Of course.
Hey, that's what I'm talking
And
about.
then we're gonna,
What you think, too? Is he going to play our promos?
Good luck, man. Good luck.
So Cassie, what's happening with the Black Mom?
We are getting ready to have our soft launch of the TBM Shopping Network.
Oh, that's what's up.
So that's what, we have been kind of keeping under wraps. We have
Okay.
an app for it and everything, but we're going to let y'all know when we're going to launch it.
Okay.
The app is actually ready.
Gotcha.
We want to load it with some really good, juicy stuff, some amazing products, some great lives. And we're going to be doing our soft launch June 3rd.
Okay.
So, if you all watch,
coming up soon.
if you all
That's
watch
coming up
Shark
quick.
Tank, then you hear, Lori Grenier and QVC. And I think that's the network she's a part of.
Well,
anyway.
right. Anyway.
She is like, the woman when it comes to home shopping network products and really getting them off the ground. And that's what we are going to be all about. And I'm going to be the lead for the TBM Shopping Network. And so I'll have days that I'll be showcasing amazing products and debuting them. And then we'll be allowing other people to come and utilize our platform and then push their own products on the shopping network as well. Okay. And our major launch is going to be, of course, during Juneteenth, everybody. So, y'all, Juneteenth we have a 2-day event, the 18th and the 19th.
Is that when they freed the Indians?
No. Unfortunately, that's not how it went with our indigenous people here.
Oh, that's what I. Okay. No,
They unfortunately.
That's when
they didn't have to be free. They just they were slaughtered.
They were slaughtered. Okay, is that when they freed the Japanese?
No.
Oh, okay.
That is when the last set of, or at least the most popular story is the last set of enslaved Africans. After the Emancipation Proclamation that happened in 1863, it took 2 years for all of our people to find out that, hey, wait a minute, it wasn't no Instagram but no telephones back then. So it took, 2 years for them to go from plantation to plantation to let everybody know, hey, y'all ain't slaves no more. And that is the supposed last set of enslaved Africans. Although we found out.
We did that show on the green side.
On the green side,
right.
That there have been people who have been enslaved up into the 70s. Right. But that is one of the biggest celebrated, time frames of being noticed. So that's when we're going to be having our major launch.
That 70s mark.
Okay.
Right, we got to say up until 2021, because there was a news story that was just released maybe a month ago.
Okay.
About a young boy in South Carolina that was a slave for like the last 15 years or 20 years of his life. And it was white, like a diner owner, kept him in the backyard.
Oh, okay.
It's a debilitating story, man, but it just broke.
Wow. I got to look at that. That's like the shipping boat industry is still, and it's not specific to Black people, but more so melanated people in Asia, where the dolphin industry.
I saw that through the fishing documentary.
Right.
I saw that.
Seaspiracy, right, where there's still having active captive slavery in today. So it's crazy, but I want to look out for that. But Juneteenth, Cassie,
Yes.
definitely, no doubt, we have to celebrate it.
Yes.
And like I was telling you, shout out to my father-in-law, Robert Fowler, who's from Texas. And I actually started celebrating Juneteenth. I was telling you this, started celebrating Juneteenth in like 1997. And nobody knew about Juneteenth, including me.
Yeah.
And we went to Pembroke, Illinois, to the Black Rodeo,
Yeah.
who was celebrating Juneteenth. And you got the greens in the cup. You got the popcorn.
Wow.
The Texas flag was out there. And then my father-in-law being from Texas, obviously Juneteenth was a way of life. Yeah. So it was nothing new, but yeah, that introduction to it, and I'm biased, so I knew about Juneteenth, so I've been celebrating it for 20 plus years. But the first major Juneteenth celebration in Chicago that I was aware of, I'll say that, and really started participating in, was the Black Mall's Juneteenth celebration and the energy that you all brought to it in Chicago.
Yeah.
But now has proliferated and moved to different sides of town.
Yeah, everybody is celebrating
the
now.
city kind of, hijacked, looked at the thing and has begun working with it.
You know how it goes.
So, yeah, absolutely. So
I'm glad that people know, I started the Juneteenth celebration 9 years ago in my home. And I juxtaposed it with my birthday because my birthday is June 8th. And so I kind of did a birthday party right in the middle of like my birthday and June 19th.
So this would be like your 32nd birthday coming up, right?
I know, right? Ooh, don't you do that too. Don't you do that. Okay, I have been told.
So you started
I have been told.
rolling the
But I'll
Juneteenth
be 41.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah. So I did it with my birthday because, of course, people are going to come and celebrate you for your birthday.
Right.
And at my birthday party, I talked about Juneteenth. And, and decided to share, at that point. And then people were really, really excited to learn about it and said, I've never heard about this before. And after that, the following year, I still had it tagged on with my birthday, but I took it to Culture Connection because my house at that point had like 100 people in it. And I'm like,
Gotcha.
I'm not doing that again in my crib. The next year we had 200. Then the following year we had 500. After that third year, I was able to drop it from being connected to my birthday, and it lived on its own. And we have, gotten up to, to thousands of people coming out. And then now, it is a part of, people's awareness.
The landscape. Yeah.
So that's really, really dope. And that was the purpose for people to, for everybody to learn about it.
So kudos to you. I just want to say that publicly.
Appreciate it.
And it also, for me personally,
Yeah.
I am going to separate it and not do your birthday this year. I'm going straight Juneteenth. Yeah, I'm glad you separated it years ago. So we're putting your birthday on the back burner, and I'm straight Juneteenth.
But Negro, I'm still doing my birthday.
That's right.
Now there's two parties.
I said
What's really more important here? Let's get it together.
It just sounded to me, and maybe I misread, that you were saying you were just going to skip my birthday.
No, you didn't misread. That's what you said.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing that.
You're only celebrating Juneteenth. Okay, no, Cassiopeia Day is a national holiday.
No,
as well.
okay. Y'all know what's most interesting about Juneteenth to me?
What's that?
What?
Is that it's arbitrary. It's not real. It's not a real thing, right? It's an arbitrary date that somebody just pulled out the air. What's interesting to that about that fact to me is that it kind of proves that, at least now, as it becomes more and more relevant in our community, is that we really can create our own narrative and build culture.
I love
Absolutely.
it. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
No doubt.
That's what I mean. Even though it's arbitrary, and they had to define a date because what was found in the history is that somewhere between the June 19th and the 21st is where the Colonel.
And see, I heard the 16th and the 20th, so it
Okay.
depends on the narrative.
So,
but same
right.
narrative.
But that's what happens with
right?
oral.
You can't narrow
history.
it down to one day.
Yeah.
Either way.
Either
I
way,
could care
it
less.
happens.
Right.
And
Point is that in the last
They
10
established it.
plus years, we're starting to connect to it, right?
Yeah.
Love that.
And I've not seen that historically in how we move in these here Americas. You know what I mean? We celebrate Christmas, right? And when you push back on Christmas, the response
Which is arbitrary too. But go ahead.
Right.
But that's kind of my
Yeah,
point. But when most times when you push back about, hey man, why are you doing that? Because I stopped that with my children a while ago.
So you don't celebrate Christmas anymore?
Not in the same context as Christmas. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Like it's basketball season, so you're going to get some new J's because you need them. You know what I'm saying? We play AAU right now. You know what I mean?
And there's sales.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's not
Lots of
necessarily a
sales.
Christmas
Lots
gift,
of
it's an
sales.
AAU gift.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? We need these right
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean? It's that kind of a party. But when you have that conversation with parents most times, it's like, man, let's say outside of the conscious community. It's like, man, no, man, I can't do that this Christmas.
Right.
But it's arbitrary. You're not even a Christian. You know what I mean?
But it's larger than that. The
Christmas
marketing,
is
the
definitely
culture is
larger
larger
than
than
Christianity.
Right.
But
Yeah,
for us
no
to
doubt.
disconnect from that culturally,
Well,
it's
but-
interesting
but-
to hear the backlash.
Here's the question, and this is not the show. I mean, I said that, but then in the back of my mind, I was like, it is, but is it
What's that?
larger than Christianity? Like in the sense,
No, they both fake.
Because
I think-
because I said it, and I'm like,
Well,
man, it
I'll
is,
say that
but
because
is
you'll have people who aren't Christians that still celebrate Christmas.
I got it. I
Yeah.
feel that. But then
Yeah, that's why I
culturally,
think it's larger than Christianity, the religion is. Not necessarily the amount of people who believe in
No,
Christianity,
I
or where
was-
you going with this?
I was going with it to, you may not actively recognize that you're a Christian, but if you're celebrating Christmas, are you not? Yeah, it's just, I don't even want to tackle
But that's right. Yeah. I think
yeah,
you're
it's
celebrating,
culturally-
the festivities. People are all into the festivities and and the selfishness or whatever that comes from it, or the gluttony that comes with it. Absolutely, it ain't got nothing to do with the religion. I've had
The
people be
American
like, I'm getting gifts for my
well,
kids.
Yeah, that's true.
You could argue
That's
that the
true.
creation.
Shop at the Black Mall this
I'm
December.
not opening up the Bible on
Well,
this
here's
thing.
what we're gonna do,
Yes,
Cassie. Here's what we're gonna do.
absolutely.
Unlike
Yes.
Juneteenth, my birthday is December 17th. We're gonna separate it. Put all your gifts on December 17th. Buy from the Black Mall on December 17th.
nice.
Oh, look at that. Bless
Right?
your heart.
Yes,
And you can do it on
yes.
Kwanzaa, too.
And Kwanzaa.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
So that being said, before we go to break, I want to talk a little bit about. So I meant to mention this Tuesday to everybody out there, but I graduated. I got my urban farming certification this weekend. I was in a virtual class.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And last year, and so for the last couple years, I have been really seriously investing in the healing / growth process in terms of nutrition, how we do this. So it's not that, I'm a vegan and I just want to espouse this and that. Like I've been back to school year after year after year to really dig into this natural process of healing. And the reason I went to school to get my farming certification, even though it's under the banner of urban farming and organic agriculture, was because I have a personal theory of the plant to the plate. And I want to be, I want to be ingratiated into that process as we begin this whole cultural healing, because I think foods are a part of it, spirituality is a part of it, institutions are a part of it. And I think that all of the pieces go together as we approach what I call the melanated millennium. And as we move toward a different understanding. So I'm excited about that. It really helps us do what we do at the Plant-Based African, not just understanding what we're putting in our mouths, but also where the vegetables come from, how they're produced, what is the ultimate piece in terms of nutrition from the plant to the plate. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. And so as people work with us through the Plant-Based African, we just started with our first Alzheimer's client and dementia client as of 3 days ago, because dementia and Alzheimer's and the new research, they say it's new research, I have a different opinion, but for the sake of what's in the media, the new research shows that it is above 90% diet related when it comes to dementia and Alzheimer's, because basically it's a heart attack over time to the brain, meaning the arteries get clogged due to animal fat. And so the brain, although it is only 2% of the body mass, requires 20% of the total oxygen that we take in.
That makes sense.
And that's how important the brain's functions are. So when you clog the arteries that go to the brain and the blood can no longer circulate and the brain cannot get its proper percentage of oxygen, then functions begin to shut down. They become hampered. And that's why people can't remember. They begin to lose their memory.
I'm sorry. There's jokes in my head.
That I'm sure that most of the Alzheimer's patients won't remember, so get it out. We're gonna go to break. No, I'm just teasing. What's the joke though? I want to laugh.
So I love that Two is here because he's like my brother that I don't get a chance to see out there, and it's just like any opportunity to pick on your brother. It's there, and you said 20% of oxygen. I was like, in my head, I was like, and people like Two would probably.
Two needs 40.
Hey, I was thinking the same thing.
It was like, I probably need 40%.
Hey, how do we reverse that? I'm so serious. Just in case.
So anyway, Ron, are you hearing this today? This is what we're up for. Well, before we get ready to go to break. So I just want to say this is serious. We're retooling our group programs. We're going to roll out our fall group in September. But this summer we are working with individual clients. Come see us. We just had somebody get off of all of their diabetic medication. I don't use the word cure because you'll get in trouble with the American medical whatever. Right. But we have reverse diabetes. We have new testimonies that are online on our pages. We're just having a fabulous time introducing people to the power of plants.
Don't you have like a testimony?
Yes, I do. How does this go? When I first started,
for real though.
I used to be an alcoholic, but
that's where we going today.
Nah, that's real. No, but I got on the last plant-based, what would you call it?
Animal-free April.
Animal-free April with Sadeek. And I did it, I've been BSing Sadeek for a long time. Like, yeah, I'm going to do it. But I was never going to do it. I had no plans on doing it.
No, real talk, because we started in January. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. 4 months later, nah.
Ain't looking good. But no, man, I was having a problem with my hip. I guess I still got a problem with the hip. I guess you're always going to be an addict. You know what I mean? But Sadeek was telling me, after he told me that he was 400 years old, he told me that, I can get rid of that hip pain.
Right.
And he said, just try eating these plants, man. And for a long time, I was like, yeah, all right. But then they told me I had to get surgery. And really, it's not about the plants for me at all, right? I went and got precursor to surgery, right? So the precursor to surgery was some steroid shot.
How big was the?
Wow.
How
Mind you, this is my growing area, right? And the needle is this damn long. I think I told Sadeek the story. So I'm in the hospital.
Where did they put the needle?
It's not growing right next to my joint.
Wait for it.
But listen.
Wait for it.
I'm in the hospital alone by myself. First of all, let me explain how stupid I am, right? Because I don't give a shit about no rules, right? So I say, it don't hurt that bad. I can ride my bike to the hospital today.
What?
And since I'm getting a steroid, I should be good by the time it's over with.
Right. Shot.
Then I can go on a bike ride to the north side. That's my whole mindset.
Nobody stopped you.
I'm a G. Anyway.
Right.
So anyway, I'm in the hospital. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. They bring this doctor in here, white man, who has to be, he's probably the same age as you, Sadeek, like 400, like in real time.
But he looks much worse.
Right, he looks much worse.
Real time.
Much worse. Right,
real time.
Like, this kind of shit going on with his
But
hands.
he want to tell you how to be
There's
healthy.
a lot of stuff making me nervous right now. You know what I mean? His hands doing all this shit. I'm like, okay, maybe just some cream they're going to put on me and some shit. So, so they break out this needle and I see it. And immediately I freak out, right? So I'm grabbing the nurse's hand. I'm holding her hand like, don't let me go. Don't let me go. And part of how they give you the steroid is they got, because I needed a hip replacement, what they have to do is the needle has to reach the middle of the joint. So it's not just breaking the skin, they digging deep.
Right.
So, I'm laying on this thing, on this slab of cold hospital shit, naked from the bottoms down. I got to hold my joint over. They're like, they're telling you.
You gotta do work too.
Yeah, they like, hold your joint.
Yeah, you definitely want to move it out the way.
I'm clearly.
Right.
I understand.
Right.
I'm going to follow these rules.
I'm for it.
Yeah,
Right.
let's be compliant.
But the needle's this damn big. And the shit hurt. You know what I mean? It hurt a lot. So they gave me the joint. I'm sorry. All right. I took that like a G because I'm a Viking. But I should be feeling better by the moment I walk up out of here. Right? And they said, no, it takes like 2 to 3 weeks for this even to kick in. Now, mind you, I'm on my bike like a dumbass. And I was already hurting before I left, but now I got a shot, made it hurt more.
Wow.
So I get out of there, ride the bike. I'm about to ride the bike to the crib, have a blowout on Lake on my bike. So now I got to walk with this needle pain, hip pain. I was like, man, hell with this shit. Call Sadeek right now. Sick of this shit. And I gave it a try, man. And actually, that's laughable, and I'm making a joke. But after that fake shot wore off, because it's supposed to last like 3 to 6 months, it lasted like 3 weeks. Right? That's the only time it gave me some relief, and then it got excessively worse.
Wow.
You know, and I reached out to Sadeek like, hey man, show me how to do this shit. You know what I mean? And I still don't know how to do it. I'd be lying to y'all if I said I did. But what Sadeek did was, and this is the lazy side of it too, he just gave me a list of restaurants to sell this shit. And I went to buy it. You know what I mean? And it's easy for me to
start where you are.
Yeah.
That's what we talk about. So
have you got any relief?
Yeah, I got a lot of relief, man. I'm still stupid too, though, right? So I overdo shit often. So the pain subsided. And as soon as the pain subsided, I'm back playing basketball. I'm doing stuff I should really be doing.
Yeah.
So every now and then, like I'm in the gym now again because I gained so much weight over COVID and all that. I'm vain, so I got to get that shit up out of here.
Got it.
You lost a lot of weight though.
But still, it's still disrespectful out here. I got a image to uphold. You know what I mean?
I'm with you.
He said it's still
you.
disrespectful out here.
I got about
But I'm
7 more pounds.
I'm
here.
doing shit I shouldn't be doing really. You know what I mean? Like I'm playing basketball on concrete. Just stupid shit. But I ain't got no sense. You know what I mean? But every now and then I get a pain, but I think it's more because of the pressure I'm putting on it. But it's not because of just it's reversing. That's
We're gonna work some more of it out this summer. I got
with
you.
it.
Yeah, so you'll be
That's
in the
what's
fall.
up.
We'll be back on the court. So
That's
listen,
what's up.
we got to go to break, but I want to say this, guys. We need you to like,
Comment.
and share.
that thing.
Come
We
on,
need you to do it right now because we are going to be talking about Exterminate All the Brutes.
Oh God.
It is a documentary series, 4-parter, by the director and writer Raoul Peck, who is a native Haitian who has traveled the planet, and he also wrote I'm Not Your Negro. But this is a dynamic director. But the information, not necessarily new, but the way he paints the picture, oh my God. So after the break, it's Sadeek, Cassie, and 2, and we're going to be talking about Exterminate All the Brutes. You're on the green side of things. We'll see you after this break.
WIIFTBP.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Since 2018, nearly 3,000 tax credit scholarships have been awarded to Black students in Illinois to attend private schools that best fit their needs. Now, Governor Pritzker wants to slash this program. In a time of much uncertainty, we need greater equity in education for our families and children, not less. Call your state representative and senator and urge them to stand up for our kids and their future by supporting the tax credit scholarship program. For more information, visit empowerillinois.org.
Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water and I think of all the things
jail. Put your house on up for sale. Did you get a good lawyer? I hope you didn't catch a tan. I hope you find the right man who'll fix it for you. And are you shopping anywhere? Change the color of your hair. Are you busy? And did you have to pay that fine that you've been dodging all the time? Are you still dizzy? Oh, yeah. Since I've come home, well, my body's been a mess. And I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Oh, stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over there?
Welcome back to the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek,
And Cassiopeia.
and we need you to like,
comment
and share that thing. We need you to do it right now and invite some more people around this lunch table today. And sitting in with us is our brother,
King Jaffe Jofa.
thought leader, and half of Izwiz, Toussaint Warner's with us today. And we are going to tackle Exterminate All the Brutes. It is a 4-part documentary series by the director Raoul Peck, who is also the director and writer of I'm Not Your Negro. He's just got a plethora of award-winning documentaries and media works that are out there. So if you all get a chance, you can Google Raoul Peck. He actually was also a minister inside of the Haitian government for part of his career.
Wow.
He's got an extensive career in dealing with naturalization, history, culture, government. He's just a well-read, what I want to put. He's a very come on, man. You read like books all the time. He's just a really good brother in terms of how he portrays history and the way he brings it to the table, I think, from the things that I've gotten a chance to see. So that being said, hopefully you all, some of you have watched it. In your comments, let us know if you had a chance to watch any part of Exterminate All the Brutes. And I'm going to get the discussion going with this question. Well, I'm going to read, first of all, from a book. This book is called The Last Hours of Ancient Sunlight. It's written by Tom Hartman, and I started reading this book about 15 years ago. Actually lost my original copy and had to buy this new one because Tom just brings some things to light. But I want to read a paragraph he has here because it lines up perfectly to me with the beginning of Exterminate All the Brutes, and then I want to start the conversation here. And on page 175 of The Last Hours of Ancient Sunlight, Mr. Hartman says, in the United States, the first quote-unquote Indian War in New England was the Pico War of 1636, in which colonists surrounded the largest of the Pico villages, set it afire as the sun began to rise, and then performed their duty. They shot everybody, men, women, children, and the elderly. As the Puritan colonist William Bradford described the scene, he says, quote unquote, it was a fearful sight to see them thus frying in the fire, and the streams of blood quenching the same. And horrible was the stink and the scent thereof. But the victory seemed as a sweet sacrifice. And they, the colonists, gave praise thereof to God, who had wrought so wonderfully. And this is what Bradford is writing as he is watching the burning bodies and the blood rolling into the fire. He credits God and notes the celebration of the European colonists. And so my question as we begin this is, as citizens of America and people who interact with Europeans, from the government on down to just living in Chicago, as a whole, and you can answer this individually, but I'm just asking as a large, do we really know who we're dealing with? And I bring that to light because, today we talk about, hey, let's go march, let's go protest, your vote counts. And I'm not discounting any of those positive messages in terms of melanated forward movement. But I'm just saying, when you get down to what's recorded here from the colonists, what Raoul Peck brings to light, if you look at the Oklahoma City bombing, if you look at, I could just go on and on and on. And I think today, I think the suits and ties fool us, the boardroom table. And my question is, do we really know who these people are? Because they real. When you can write a narrative about the blood quenching the fire, and then that was a gift from God, and praise that, and then, say that this is a wonderful victory. I'm just like, man, are we, do we really know who we're dealing with?
Collectively, I'd argue no. But I'd also say I think that we're all real. Right? I think we all kind of harness that energy internally. Right? But I also think what's happened here is that it really points out how powerful the narrative really is, right? And how powerful victory is in writing and controlling the narrative. You know what I mean? I think, one, and this is white folks too, white folks don't fully know who they are. You understand what I mean? But those in power have created a narrative for everyone to dictate who you are. You know what I mean? And we've just fallen into our space in that narrative. You know what I mean? But I think if you dig deep into your internal self, I mean, we just, Raoul Peck wrote the movie. He's a Haiti resident, I'm named Toussaint, after Toussaint Louverture. The greatest European general of all time is Napoleon. Well, Toussaint whooped his ass.
That he did.
So we got it in us too. You know what I mean? But we just haven't harnessed it, at least not in the recent history. You know what I mean? But I think this is, for me, the whole extermination of the Bruce conversation is a conversation around power. I think what happens in the minds of us in the Western world is that we've been lullabied into a space of comfort where we don't really have to consider what it really means to obtain power, because we're comfortable enough, even in our oppression, to not dive to the depths of our spirit that will drive you to saying what that book just wrote. God bless me to kill all you, whatever you want to call them. That's part of this journey, man. Right? When the lion goes to hunt the deer wasn't expecting to have that kind of a day. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It just is what it is.
No, I got you. No, the deer definitely was not expecting to have that type of a day.
Or maybe.
I was going to say.
They know.
The deer know.
They're pretty clear. They
know there's a possibility.
Y'all seen that Red Bull commercial?
Well, here I think is the difference in, and to me, right, this gets into some interesting assumptions about culture. And what I mean by that is, the deer knows that if he smells, sees, or even has a whiff of a lion, he knows that, he knows what time it is.
That's true.
I sincerely believe that the Native American, the African, the Japanese, I could go across all of these settings that Peck goes through inside of the documentary. I don't think the Native American knew what time it was. I think there was an assumption about, again, based on, where they were and these dealings for thousands of years, right? Because we're not talking about a 10-year-old or even 100-year-old culture, right? We're talking about 300 to 500 million people who had not come in contact with the Spanish or with the English, right? Yeah, I think the deer knows what time it is. I don't think the Native American knew what time it was. I think that there was a cultural assumption that they are like we are, right? We share the even when you get into Native African practices or Native American or South American practices, there's this balance between what we take from the land, how we give to the land, how we treat each other, right? And I think they were expecting something totally different. It's like, yeah, it's a man. He's white, but he's a man, and he's got children and people. And I think that the European showed up and was like, yeah, gee, I'm different, and I'm finna show you. So I don't think the Native American knew what time it was.
I can agree with that, right? Somebody in the comments just said, I'm sorry, their concept of God is terribly flawed, right? I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't agree with that either.
You know what I mean?
I
don't know
think
if
the
I
way
agree
that
with
they
I think they're different gods.
engage, or I mean, from some of the spiritual, some of the spiritual practices, and information that I've gotten, it just came off.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
That there are different gods.
Yeah,
That
that's my personal take.
So let's say it like this, right? There are different iterations of God, right? And the way that they engage with these particular iterations of God are different.
Yeah, I think
It's a northern cradle, way of doing this. This is
I think their God
different type of environment.
is totally different. And I think that as opposed to their concept being flawed, I think that their concept based on their culture, who they are, is absolutely perfect for them. And that's why I said I don't think that the Native American knew who they were dealing with. Like, period. I really don't. I think it was a total cultural shock.
I would agree with that again, but I think that begs the question if that's a social response or is that an innate human response, right? Because I think if, even to the point of, them not fully being aware of God or who their God is or the idea of God being flawed or whatever, the universe is the author of it all, right? And it's balance that keeps this thing afloat.
Right.
You know what I mean? What would good be if evil didn't exist?
Right.
You know what I mean? The lion and the deer conversation. The deer didn't do nothing innately wrong to piss the lion off. You just got to die today. I'm hungry.
Right.
It just is what
Yeah,
it
it
is.
just is what it is. And actually, I like the terms, for me at least, negative and positive a little bit, because, right, good and bad or good and evil are relative or subjective. It's just not good for the other. Whoever's
getting victimized.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, at that particular time, it's just not good for them, but it's damn for sure good for the ones who it is benefiting.
But getting back to that universal innate nature, right? And you can equate this back to just your own personal experience. Without a test, there's no testimony. So we must begin to question what power means to us. That's how I looked at it all.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's how I've always looked at it. So even when you ask the question, were they aware of who these people are? No. Are we aware today? No. But that's a decision made by choice too, though.
Well, why aren't we aware? Like when you go through the documentary, it's clear that there were almost 300,000 Japanese killed in the bombing, right, between Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? It's clear that there were millions, and we're not even talking about the slave trade, when the governments of Europe divided up Africa, right, and the Belgian got the Congo, right, and then the other Europeans got, South Africa, and you take this, right, when they divided up Africa, you're talking about the millions of people who lost their lives on the continent, at that time. We're talking about the hundreds of millions of Native Americans, right, the South Americans. So to that point, I'm asking, why don't we know?
Well,
I mean,
first,
I think
you got to be aware of those facts,
Okay.
those statistics.
okay.
You know, how many people know those statistics? How many people really understand what Vietnam is besides them knowing that somebody
great
from the
question.
hood, you know, was in Vietnam and now they probably have some mental issue or have lost a limb and don't have a job. Outside of that, you know, I didn't know.
Is
nothing
that how
about
you were
Vietnam.
acquainted with
I
Vietnam?
mean, yeah.
Real talk. I'm
absolutely.
asking.
Like literally, my first awareness of Vietnam was through, you know, a partner of my mother's.
Okay.
Who passed away from diabetes. He was over there. He lost his legs and he then had diabetes. And I know that, you know, he was in a wheelchair and that he had, you know, some suffering as far as it came to, you know, employment. Outside of that, knew nothing else about Vietnam. It took, like, literally, I probably haven't even become about the awareness of Vietnam probably in the last 5 to 10 years. You know, like, right, what aspects of this information are we either privy to or digging for?
Well, I guess that's a great question. And I think even watching the documentary, so I was familiar with, I would say, maybe all of the accounts that he brought up from a historical perspective. I love the way that he told the story, right? The depth of it. And then you could kind of look up the stats and, you know, and go through those kind of things. Cause that's just, you know, those are things that I like to do in order to, you know, to get kind of the behind the scenes information. I think one of the things that really enthralled me was I used to have a teacher or a mentor who used to tell the young gentleman in the hood, you ain't no killer. You're not a killer, right? Real killers are people like Harry S. Truman. Because the narrative behind Truman is, and Truman is the president that authorized the dropping of the bombs on Japan. And Truman is attributed, and it's not attributed, this is documented. These are his words. And he's talking about the Japanese and probably a larger melanated crowd. The only language they understand is the one we have been using to bombard them. What you have to deal with, when you have to deal with a beast, you have to treat him as a beast. It's most regrettable, but nevertheless true. And then the story goes that Truman authorized the dropping of those bombs and then went to dinner. And when you can authorize the murder of 250,000 people and go have a steak, that's a different type of monk. That's
conditioning,
that's
bro.
Yeah, no, I got it, but I'm
Right.
just saying
Yeah.
that's a
And,
that's a
and
different
he
narrative.
don't have to do it.
But and that's kind of my point, right?
Yeah.
So it's one thing to say push the button. It's another thing to be on the grounds, and it's a difference between a gun and a
Yeah.
knife. You know what I mean? Somebody to kill you with a knife is a different kind of person than somebody to kill you with a gun. So for even for the teacher to say you're not a killer, yeah,
You know.
maybe you're wrong,
Yeah.
right? Maybe he's the most official kind of killer. In all honesty, because he's not afraid to address it head on, whatever that might look like, right? But to the point of, again, I think it's all about narratives. What is right and what is wrong, right? Who
cares?
Depends on what perspective you coming
Yeah.
from. You know what I mean? If I'm hungry and I'm stealing, am I wrong?
Right.
You know what I mean? If this is my only means to get to eat, am I
Right.
wrong? So I think the conversation of exterminate the brutes always recontextualizes how we view and understand power, right? We could say, damn, man, these are some brutal motherfuckers. They don't understand humanity. Oh, man. What kind of God do they pray to? Or we could say, I don't like this position I'm in. And
That's
just like
it.
Harry S. Truman said,
Yes.
this is the only language they
Come
understand.
on.
So do
Who
we
would
use
be
that?
wrong?
Do we use that language?
Yes.
I think
Is what I'm asking.
I think, again, it's about positioning and polarity,
Do we,
right?
Okay.
I'm sorry, which language I missed?
Well,
it.
he's saying I don't like the position
Oh,
that I'm in.
yeah.
Do we use the same language that they use, right, and the same methods that they use to solve the problem?
I think
That's the question
context is
I'm asking.
important.
I don't think it necessarily has to even be that.
Well, no, but I'm asking. Right, I'm with you. I'm saying it may or may not have to be, but in your view, because can you whoop my ass though? Polarity, power. They are.
I think what really happens, man, is that the social standard really nullifies the innate beast in your human makeup.
Okay.
right? So when we see I'm not from 64th, I'm from 63rd, or when we see the change in Parkway, the change in some of these places, when we see a child soldier in Rwanda, you know what I mean? It's based on the perspective of how I got to operate in the moment, right?
And this
63rd Street is legitimately walking distance from Bronzeville, and there's people in Bronzeville that's multimillionaires, right? But the energy on 63rd and King Drive is a very different energy, right? Because the social standards is not the same as this walking distance to Bronzeville.
Right.
It ain't the same social standard. So under these social standards and these social paradigms and these social rules, I got to be this kind of person.
Yeah.
Right? And let's be clear, it's indoor plumbing on 63rd Street. So there's places in the world where that's laughable. This is luxury.
Yeah.
Right? So what is that human capable of? Right? So again, if we understand the story of whiteness in general, it's an ideology based in scarcity.
Absolutely.
Right? So my whole philosophy
is
based in scarcity. Right? So what does scarcity create? A savage.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. I got to do what I got to do to get what I got to get.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Now, you got two choices. As a victim of this scarcity population. Either you gonna abide by them rules or you gonna stand up and whoop their ass.
Yeah.
It's just like when we look at I did a program with some kids one day, and we was talking about violence in our communities. And I said, man, how many of y'all think, what percentage of you all's community's population do you all think participate in violence? Right? And they was like, 100%.
Right.
And then these kids, right? So I broke it down. I said, man, look, it's average 40-something houses on each Chicago block. I said, average household in the black community, we being real, is like 8 to 10 people. You know what I mean? Your grandmama there, is your grandmama involved in crime, little homie? Your little brother?
Right.
Is every house on the block doing some criminal behavior? No. But that community, that one demographic of criminals has such a big impact because of the rest of the population is afraid to address them. So they only 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 10%. Now, that's a stretch of that community. That's a very high number.
Right, that's a high number.
But they dominate the energy because everybody else is scared to stand up. It just is what it is. There's a scene in The Extermination of the Brutes, and I meant to watch it again last night. I just didn't have time. But there's supposed to be an indigenous woman addressing one of these white settlers.
When he walks up.
He walks up and she was talking all this politically correct shit.
He was like this.
Right, he said
I
bam.
don't give a
Right.
shit about
That's
that.
the scene you were talking about.
Listen,
Yeah.
I don't give
And I was delirious
I don't
watching
give a
it.
damn about what you're
So it
talking
was-
about. That's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'm here to rape, rob, and pillage.
So my point is, and then the question,
Yeah.
right, is, right, okay, recognizing who they are, recognize the methodology, recognizing the cultural constraints. How do you win? And we're not going to be able to tackle it. We got a minute, and Ron just gave me the evil eye because he used
Y'all
the
be
same.
listening to Ron?
Yeah, we listen to Ron.
He said that every time. I love it.
Yeah, we listen to Ron because we make nice. Ron even makes me take the
We're
trash
the
out.
balance.
Right, we're the balance. Hey, Cassie, Ron even makes me take the trash out after the show
I
is
know,
done.
I know, right?
He be like,
He's like,
Sadeek,
you
grab
better
this
take
trash. You gonna take this trash out.
know?
I don't give you ain't the Maze Jackson show. So listen, and then I want to hear from your side,
absolutely.
Cassie. We're gonna go to break. We are talking Exterminate All the Brutes by Raoul Peck. We're talking culture. We're talking power. And you're on the green side of things. It's Sadeek.
Cassiopeia.
And we're sitting in with Toussaint Warner. We will see you after the break.
WIIFTBP and
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
This is Tori Muhammad, and we want you to tune in to the Tori Muhammad Show that airs here on What's In It for the Black People Media every Monday and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We talk and celebrate Black-owned businesses, Black entrepreneurs, and we talk to some of the best people in the food industry here in Chicago, Black chefs, Black restaurateurs. So make sure that you tune in to us every Monday and Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
What are y'all takes on blended families?
Meaning white people? Or what?
No, she mean like you got kids, this person got kids, y'all get together and bring the whole family together. I don't know. I have zero experience with it. I imagine it could be challenging. Especially, I think the older the children are, I think the more challenging it could be. I think if it's little children or something, you can kind of explain it to them, and they may like grow up together and kind of in that same space where this is mom, this is dad type thing. But if you talk about older kids where they literally have a mom or dad, another person like that has been in their lives, when they're older, and you're like, oh no, this is your step brother, step sister. Like, no, we like 17. Like, I'll bone her.
And if this family don't work, you can just give me to the game anyway. Ain't no other, it ain't gonna matter. No woman will ever be important. I'm not being an ass. I'm serious. In my mind, the value of that kind of a commitment is family. I got that already. So now we just chilling. So you ain't gonna really know my children.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's In It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
What you doing? Yeah.
Like you stepping in your seat right
Man, I really am. It is a really cool Thursday in Chicago.
It is.
You understand? The only way you wear shorts today is based on how much European blood is in your system. But if you are halfway melanated, it is cold. You understand? Toussaint, how you feel with them shorts on?
I'm cool.
My man.
Y'all so crazy.
So
listen, my subcutaneous melanin.
Oh, did you hear what she just dropped? That was a Beasley word. Subcutaneous.
My subcutaneous melanin.
It's a and I hit
Be
both
having me cold
Beasley
as
groups.
hell.
I hit both Beasley groups. I shared the thing and I said, join the bees around the lunch table.
I never.
Because we all bees. Well, whatever.
You never honor it, you said?
Yeah. He's a bee, and right now I'm using.
It was a what kind of experience?
A horrible experience.
I'm using a twoism. I don't
was in trouble
care.
with Mr. Gross?
I didn't like Mr. Gray.
He didn't. Two was in trouble with everybody.
You know who I did? I used to like Miss McLemore. Not really like
she
her,
was a G.
but the only reason I rock with her because she was Fluky Stokes.
It was the
Absolutely.
glasses.
And I
She was
love
G.
It was the
Fluky
glasses.
Stokes.
And
No,
your
I
ass,
just love Fluky Stokes.
And your
okay.
ass wasn't getting off for two neither.
No, I got it.
Oh, you got it. Oh,
I
you
learned
was-
how to cut school at Beasley. That's why I first started.
How do you cut school at Beasley? It's like a damn
Because he rolled.
prison.
No, he rolled the CTA and could get off.
Oh, so you just didn't go inside
Well,
at
I
all.
got kicked off the school
Right,
bus,
right, he
and
got
then I
kicked
would
off.
never go to school.
Because he wanted to beat up the
I'm
bus
like, because
driver.
once you're in Beasley, me,
It's a
you're
prison.
in.
Yeah.
It's a prison.
Yeah.
And I was locked up for 8 years. Listen, you're on the green side of things. It's Sadeek,
And Cassiopeia.
and we got Tucson Warner in here. We need you to like
comment
and share that thing. We need you to do it. We need you to do it right now.
you do it
Listen,
so
you
well.
all. It is our last show before the Greenside summer break. You're gonna get great programming that's gonna come.
Wait about. Are you
30
cheering?
minutes late.
30 minutes late.
No, but
Wait though, is
but-
he cheering us leaving?
I don't know.
be.
No, no,
Like,
he's
whatever. Tommy
he's
Buzz,
cheering.
man.
He's cheering. Right.
He
It's
just
a
learned that
celebration.
button worked. That's what that really was. What does this do?
He's cheering our successful run from December all the way
Yeah.
through May.
Yes.
We started in 2020, and we had the fortunate. We were able to continue through 2021
Right.
all the way to today, and we will be back in
the
September,
fall, baby.
in the fall, just like the Cosby Show.
Yes.
So what we like to do is continue. We do need you all to bring more people around the lunch table. We are having this conversation about Exterminate All the Brutes, which is a four-part documentary series by director Raoul Peck, who is an award-winning writer and producer, including works such as I'm Not Your Negro. And what we are doing is discussing, we're talking about the, as it is,
That's probably one of y'all's computers hooked up to the road.
No, I accidentally hit a button. Okay, my phone laughed.
Yes, it is. But the documentary actually travels through time and records not all, but many of the, I would call, calculated atrocities by the modern European hegemony.
Yeah.
And that being
Modern European hegemony. What does hegemony mean?
hegemony is actually the existence of the combination of nature, culture, and proliferation out from your original space.
I knew you would know. Dictionary Dave over here.
I'm Dictionary Dave.
Yes.
All right, I'll be Dictionary Dave.
So look, I see you got miseducation of the Negro over here.
Hold on. Before you go into
Right.
that, I want to follow up for those that have been in the conversation. We were talking about actually the standoff with the Native American young lady and the white European
Whatever colonizer.
right? To use the term from what was the movie?
Oh, yeah. Because you want to know.
Right. Okay. So because you actually had something to say.
Yes.
Yes. So the question was, right? That's their proclivity, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to you. I'm saying this, and he's like, "Man, I ain't got time for this."
That
Right.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
How do you fight that? What is, that's the question, right? So you talk about it's a question of power, right? And it obviously it is a question of power, right? So how do you fight that? And Cassie, you were.
So, right, I love what Tucson is talking about. To me, that's Kujitagalia, right? That is the real self-determination. So before modern history, right, or the modern times and the European involvement and them being able to, pretty much globally colonize the world, right? There were times that when you had an adversary, you stood up and you fought it. That's just what it was. It seems like nowadays we're constantly looking for them. Stop being who you are. Stop coming for us.
What we're looking for him to do? What?
And
Say it
just-
again.
Just stop. Will you stop? Will you guys please stop? And that's not how it works.
It's
in
not-
no time.
It's not funny, but your voice is on.
Because I do it in that, and I'm kind of poking fun so that we can kind of really step back and look at this, right?
Gotcha.
We're constantly looking for them to, hey guys, stop being yourself, stop coming for us. It's not fair. It's never been fair. It wasn't fair when the Nubians and the Kemites were attacking each other. It wasn't fair when the West Africans then moved from Kemet and said we had to come to West Africa and started something new. It wasn't fair when the Japanese was killing each other all over the place. It wasn't fair when the South America, but when the Europeans do it, right? Because, right, we look at them as being so different. Now it's what are you guys doing? You're not doing it in the way that you should be doing it. You're not doing it in the way that the rest of us do it. We only fight each other one at a time. Maybe two at a time. You Negroes are fighting everybody at all times. Hey, quit it. We can't handle that. Instead of just saying, no, stand up in your power. They also, because of the environment, right? Again, I'm going back to Mama Marimba Ani of the book Urugu. And not only does scarcity and play a major factor in the greed and the viciousness of Europeans, it also made them very cunning because of that scarcity. I don't have time to really negotiate with you on if we're going to be able to eat this little ass squirrel that we could catch. Real talk, because it's not like there was big ass animals everywhere that they could get, and now we have enough to take back to the village. They were fighting over little pieces of meat, little rodents to take back to their entire family. So there is no aspect of community. It really is family, and damn near it's really just me, because this woman is becoming a liability for me as well.
Her ass eat too much.
Who was fighting over the rodent?
Men, two white males
were fighting
European,
over
right? I'm coming. Hey, it's cold. We coming through this snow. I'm out hunting, and then shit. Who the hell is this man coming out hunting in this one little squirrel that's available? Somebody's got to go. So now you have tricking and trapping that's coming to the warfare, right, or the battle. Something that, when you're living in abundance, you don't even have to think in that type of way. So to answer a couple of your questions, no, the rest of the world who lived in mostly sunny areas, or at least half of the time lived in sun, had no idea what they were coming up against with this new human who decided we moved north for whatever reason, up here, adjusted to it, and this is what the adjustment looks like. So when we come back into with everybody else, all we know is the way we've been living for the last thousands of years, and what y'all doing is out of order. So yes, there's the point where we had to figure it out. We got it now. Let's stand our asses up and realize it. Stop asking for permission and for the equity. Like, just stand up in your power and know that the way that we'll have to battle may look different. It doesn't mean, don't try to even battle like them, because you ain't them. That's another part of it that gets us all messed up. We want to try to go and grab a whole bunch of guns. Sorry, they already bought them all and they create them too.
So I got a little pushback with that one, though, Cassie.
Uh-huh.
I think in the history of mankind, I think we share the most in common with them, right? If I'm the sum total with all that came before me, I share that African genome running through my veins, as well as this scarcity
the European gene
through my veins. And because we're sort of a science project of a population, right? This kind of slavery is abnormal to the rest of the world experience,
right?
So in that vein, we was kind of bred like cattle. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
and
like cattle.
And bred in different ways and raped at. There was farms. There was breeding farms.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Think about that shit. Human breeding farms.
Right.
So
and sex farms.
Right.
Real talk. But that doesn't get covered. That doesn't get covered in history. The narrative.
Right. You know, that's not part of the narrative. But you don't get me. You don't get you without a heavy influx of that energy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And not just from an outside perspective.
Him too. It just shows up in our phenotype a little bit more obvious.
But not even from an external, but from an internal. You know what I mean? From an internal perspective. Yeah. And then just the very dynamic of how America works. Right? America's the youngest country, if not one of the youngest, if not the
institution.
youngest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, there was one founded yesterday, but go ahead.
Well, bless their heart. But
we'll talk about
but we have a dominant. We've dominated the rest of the world for the duration of this existence. Nearly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've dominated with very little resource. We've dominated with brute strength. Right? We'll beat your ass. That's our narrative. Keep fucking with me. We'll beat your ass.
firearms, but we'll keep going.
Either way,
Yeah.
we'll fuck you up. Right? We're talking about Palestine and Israel right now.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody mentioned America's playing this. America's the goddamn cobra that keeps this shit going.
We actually talked about it on the green side of things. last week.
Anybody but y'all. Because I know y'all fucking geniuses. What was I
Oh,
thinking?
here we go. Shade.
But I'm listening to my daughter. She's in school, and they're having a conversation about Palestine and Israel. You know what I mean? I'm listening. It's this digital learning bullshit. They're having a conversation. I'm listening to this shit. I'm like, oh, they ruining my baby. So I'm in the background shouting out other shit. No, this is why, baby. Tell her that. I'm telling the teacher what to think. You know what I mean?
He in class. Wait,
Yeah,
Cassie.
this some bullshit, man. You can't listen to that.
Wait a minute. Tucson is this class.
Look, his daughter's gone. He silenced the video.
Right.
Put the video back on, and it's 2 right here. Like,
I'm working.
The teacher's like, Miss Warner, you've changed.
got a little black virtual hand coming up.
But we working together, right? I'm working, she working, and I'm overhearing this shit. But that's part of the conditioning.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's the teacher just ignorant or this is the curriculum.
Yeah.
It's
Right?
both.
Probably both.
It's probably both, right?
Yeah.
But at
Right.
the end of the day, if we're not addressing it from those perspectives, we get a false sense of what's really going on there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all running around with cell phones. They cut motherfuckers' hands off to make these. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's be clear. But we're comfortable with having this thing in my hand. So at a lot of levels, we support these behaviors. And then, you know, when we become victim to them, it's like, why? Like you said, woe is me.
Yeah.
No, that's the game. This is the game, right? If you want to play, my son plays basketball. He played last week. They was getting fouled. He was like, the ref not calling. Give a fuck. You still got a responsibility to win. Period. This is the game.
Real talk.
You cannot control how the refs are going to ref it.
So you said don't play like LeBron James.
Ever.
Okay.
Ever.
I wanted to be clear.
Ever.
Because that method would be the ref didn't call the foul, like, you know, whine, cry, fall
Crying,
on
whine.
the ground.
But that's how black people play.
Oh, okay.
Right? We
What's up?
whining
What's
and
wrong?
crying.
Real took me out the picture.
See? And then he blames somebody else all the time.
Well, I'm out. I didn't touch it. I'm gone.
What happened? Well, on the screen, Tucson is missing. Oh, wait a minute. Tucson is now Cassiopeia. Welcome to the green side of things. This your man Sadeek and
I
Tucson.
grew a beard. I got braids.
We need you to like, comment, and
I
share.
guess I'll be back on screen soon.
Ron came in and did some camera work that didn't work. Speaking of exterminate all the brutes, like he just took Cassie out. It was crazy. Like,
Bang, get out of there.
if you didn't like her comment, bro, you could have just you didn't have to take off the screen. So I'm hearing one kind of similarity and one difference. And the similarity I'm hearing is we're capable, stand in our power. But Cassie, you draw the distinction that we don't have to use their methods. Did I? Okay, I got that correct. 2, I think I'm hearing you say.
No, I support using their methods.
Okay. So how does that practically shake out? Using their method.
Violence.
And I know what the method is. I'm saying in your mind, and as we look at things and play out, and it's a curiosity of mine. That's the kind of fight fire with fire narrative. How does that really play out?
I think it plays out in a plethora of ways, right? And the only reason I say I support using their method.
Okay.
Because what we've seen in the history of white power dynamics is that violence wins.
Okay.
It just does, right? And they've been the dominant power since they've, invented the gun. It just is what it is, right? So granted, and me and you was having this conversation the other day, I think there is that, again, we the sum total of all that comes before us. So we got that innate African God spirit too, you know what I mean? And we're not by our very nature this scarcity mindset kind of people. Even when you start thinking about economic access and how we give, we're the most charitable people in the world still. You know what I mean? The poorest, and we give the most, you know. So innately, we got this connection to spirituality that is unlike any other person on the planet. You know what I mean? There's an argument that says that we're really the only humans on the planet. There's arguments to say that, you know. So I think that's part of our internal makeup. But in order for us to reach the highest height of that internal makeup, we got to first exterminate the brute. Okay. And in order to do that, we got to tap into our savage brute energy. You know what I mean? Because they're not going to give away that power. The only thing that supersedes power is equal or greater force. You got to fight back. You know what I mean? And what we've done out of cowardice, in my opinion, is that we've got along. We go along to get along, right? I don't want to be in the throes of the weakest amongst us, so I assimilate the best I can into this savage society. Right, and as long as I'm comfortable within it, whatever happens outside of me or mine, and outside of this address or this doorstep, doesn't matter, right? But can't move like that because the social standard is always changing. It's always changing, right? We're moving into the fourth industrial revolution in America. You know what I mean? It's the rise of the machine, right? There is no more safety because the powerful never stop. The greed, the gluttonous never goes away. When it's a scarcity mentality, you going to eat not till you full. You going to eat till ain't no more.
Right, you're going to overeat.
Right. Well, you just eat just like a catfish. Right. Eventually, you eat everything in the pond, and you going to starve. It just is how it works.
So I think, the globe will do the work of balancing out that greed. We've seen it happen with COVID, and it'll keep happening until there is something that humans do differently if we want to stay on this planet. I think that's a portion of it. I think the other piece, though, I'm not saying that, that warfare or even or being prepared for battle isn't something that we shouldn't do. I'm saying not like them, which means a lot of different things. It incorporates so much, because in order to be able to beat that savage, like you said, you got to become the savage. But then what does it matter? That savage still exists. That same exact savage still now exists. It's just not necessarily a white-skinned savage.
Oh, I'm all for that.
Okay. Well, then just keep the shit the way it is. And just assimilate and be just like them. What's the difference?
It's the hierarchy, though, right? I just don't want to be at the bottom of the hierarchy.
But still destroy the globe and then go and start colonizing others?
It's not even about that. I don't want to be at the bottom of the hierarchy, right? They have dominated the control of the idea.
So for you, the position is colorless.
Yeah. No. I don't want to say it's colorless. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It can't be.
It matters because we are the innate.
From his position.
Right. It matters because I think we do carry that innate.
You're just saying
spirit.
switch the
dynamic. We should be dominating, ruling the world because we have that innate humanity in us. They don't. So if you're being ruled by the scarcity party, if we look at it, Republicans and Democrats, if you're being ruled by the violent, scarcity, savage party, then you're going to have to live within the confines of what violence, scarcity, and savagery looks like.
But then if you just become them, then you're just going to still perpetuate the same exact thing.
You must become them to conquer them. That don't mean you got to rule in their same capacity.
That's how they became.
So then how do we get out of that?
Great reference point is Toussaint legitimately beat Napoleon, right? He had a partner named Dessalines who was like, kill all them motherfuckers. Toussaint was the Obama of his time. No, they get the message. We ain't got to do no more. They killed the shit out of Toussaint after they realized he wasn't going to kill them, right?
And what does Haiti look like now?
It's fucked up, but that's not why. That's not why.
Why?
It's fucked up because the French still have dominating control. That's why. Because they really didn't obtain complete power. Toussaint defeated them, said they're cool. They can operate within our social standard. They can operate within our social standard. We do not have to release them from Haiti. We can either kill them, get rid of them, or nothing. He said, no, they can integrate into our society. We're cool as long as they understand the position in the end. They just can't run for political office was basically his statement. Motherfucker, what? You think we gonna abide by that rule? Oh, motherfucker, we ain't going away. It's like a virus. Until you get rid of the virus, it's gonna keep attacking your immune system. And because of Toussaint's humanity, he didn't think of it in that way.
But he beat them without becoming them.
That's kind of my point. He didn't necessarily, he beat them.
Right. He beat them,
but he didn't become them.
Right.
At some point, you need to become them to conquer that energy.
So
It's
that's,
like,
I don't know.
that's why I think that's where it goes wrong. They didn't become that because it just was like, I want to become this. It was tens of thousands of years over being in this particular environment where they had to become savage-like you stated. And once that happens, something changes, not only in your ideology, but also in your DNA. And like you even stated just a few seconds ago, once you get a taste of that greed, the greed and the tricking and trapping didn't come again because I just wanted to and I desired it. It was a necessity of survival. And then once that becomes a part of your DNA, you only understand hoarding.
Wait.
Which is where greed
So
comes from.
maybe I should have prefaced this with like nuance, right? I don't think it's the greed that we got to mimic. I think it's the violence and the barbarism that we got to mimic. I don't think it's the greed that we got to mimic.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is the greed didn't just come out of nowhere. It came as a part of the environment and the changes they had to make to be able to survive.
But it's the barbarism and the savagery that creates the coward response that we have. Right?
But it doesn't.
Not by the greed.
It just doesn't. They don't come without. They come one with another. Is what I'm talking about.
I
So
don't know if I agree with that.
it's already happened with with being in this construct. Greed
Well, I think
is
they
now a
feed each
part
other.
of it's a part of the feeding. They came with one another, tricking, trapping, hoarding. In order for me to even become more powerful than you, I have to now start hoarding as well. I have to hoard all the artillery. I have to hoard all the resources. That is the only way to then make you lose the oxygen or the lifeblood of your society. And then once you start to do that and practice that, it becomes a part of your way. It's going to be hard to now get rid of it now that we've conquered. That's my only problem with, I think, that particular way of thinking. It's like we just end up becoming the same thing.
So I have a similar question, right? If you become them, even on the separated and just become them on the barbarism tip, how do you then decompress or how do you transform or do you? How do you not?
I don't know if you need to transform. I think
Okay.
it's just a switching of the hierarchy. That's all I'm saying, right?
But you're
I don't want to
saying
be the victim anymore.
You're saying literally adopt their level of barbarism. So to fight them.
And let's not say their level of barbarism. I don't even want to say that.
Okay.
Because it's not their level.
Okay.
It's a universal.
Adapt another level,
Right.
other than the level we're on now.
Yeah.
Adapt another level of barbarism.
We the scariest people in the world.
Okay.
We really are.
I don't know. So I would say this. I don't know so much if we are. There are some what we used to call scaredy cats, right? I'll give you that in terms of being scared, but I don't know if that's the whole issue. I don't think that's the
We just
the
had
only issue.
January 6th when they attacked the Capitol building.
Okay.
Like majority white folks. Did you see how blazing they was and how disregard for whatever the American power structure
Absolutely.
is? Now just think about the response from the black community when they saw that shit happen, right? Because it spoke volumes to me, right? And you heard it all through the social media throws. If that was us, this would have happened. If that was, what that really speaks to is your cowardice. That's what that really speaks to. They do it, maybe that's true. They don't have the expectation of being hurt. But that's also what drives the courage to do so. I don't give a fuck about the response to this. And what drives our cowardice is I am concerned about the response to this. They would have did this. You're fucking right. They would have done this. And they're going to keep doing that until you understand you have some power here.
Right.
Right? We can write it off how we want to write it off, but it's still cowardice.
So let's do this. Let's tackle that. Let's tackle us being them, because I have another question. We're going to go to break really quick. You're on the green side of things with Sadeek, Cassiopeia, and Toussaint. We are discussing Exterminate All the Brutes It is our last Thursday before we go into our summer break. So we need you to like,
comment,
and share as we go into our last half hour. You're on the green side of things. We'll see you after this break.
WIIFTBP.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing Black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Check, 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 check. Oh, please, don't you rock my boat, 'cause I don't want my boat to be right. Rock my boat. Oh, please, don't you rock my boat. Oh, no, 'cause I don't want my boat to be right. I'm telling you just I like it like this. Keep this just like this. And you should know by now. I like it. I like it like I like it. I like it like I like it. I like it like I like it like this. Yeah.
Satisfy my soul. Hey, what's going on, you all? We are back on the green side of things. It's your man, Sadeek.
Cassiopeia.
And we need you to like,
comment,
and share. We need you to do it right now and bring some people around this lunch table as we continue this conversation of culture, brute force.
Shout out to Ron Rilla for fixing my camera up there.
Hey,
Thank
Ron
you,
is the
sir.
man. Ron, thank you. We appreciate you, brother.
No problem. No
Hey, Ron, you gonna miss us?
Of course I'm gonna miss y'all.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need. Tucson is like, I don't give a damn. Basically, they could just,
I will see y'all.
He's standing right. He's standing like, y'all stupid.
Right, dummies. But meanwhile, we will be
y'all
guests.
gonna miss us?
We will be guests every week on I Said What I Said.
Right?
Every week. Monday,
come
Wednesday,
busting
and
down the
Friday.
door. That's
Right,
what I wanna
1
do.
to 3 p.m.
I don't even want them to know I'm coming.
Right, just
Open
sit
door
in the
policy,
seat.
man. Y'all always welcome.
Just sit in the seat. So I'm I'm appreciating the conversation. We say this all the time. Like, we have to sort through these ideas. You brought it up Tuesday, that it's not necessarily the agreement, but it is the, you know, we need to get to these angles, right? Because it's the marketplace of ideas that brings us closer to, if we're going to get to a solution, we got to talk about it. Like real stuff. Cause you know, you brought up, I mean, how do you know these things, like the stats and what's going on? And then even beyond that, the ancient cultures, right? There's a part of us that's murderous or violent, right? Or the part, right, separating this modern era from different eras on the planet. And then I'm fascinated by the question, how do we fight it, right? To your suggestion, fight fire with fire, right? They're violent. We need to be as violent.
Equal
we need to
or more
match.
violent, yeah.
We need to match their level of violence. And Cassie, you suggest that maybe that's not the not the answer.
What I'm not necessarily saying that, and I think it's I think cowardice is oversimplified.
Okay, that's where we left off, right?
Yeah,
right.
That's where we was leaving off. You know,
Right.
you know, Tu was talking about everybody being, you know, black people and their reaction to January 6th and the attack on the White House by all of the, you know, right wing, you know, Proud Boy type white boys and people that went and attacked it with no issues, right?
Just for the record, there were 2 black people out there. They
There
weren't
were.
necessarily right wing.
They weren't right wing.
It was a few.
No,
rap
but
dude who
they
shoot the
joined
video.
into
Yeah, they joined
attack the
into
Capitol.
it. Yeah. They was,
Right.
yeah. So that's a part of their culture. So the reason why I say that definitely there is, you know, a fear factor in our community. I think cowardice is oversimplified because we have of course we have a different, you know, situation, right? We've talked about earlier that this is a whole different type of enslavement that the world ever saw, and the conditioning and the very highly concentrated, overpowering that our people faced coming from the shores of West Africa over here is a whole different situation. And in the hundreds of years of dealing with that and trying to fight and leave, and it taking a long, you know, hundreds of years to be able to get out, and then only with the alliance with other white folks, it was really able to come to fruition, right? So I don't want to necessarily, and then all it did was start to just change forms. You know, we went from Jim Crow to now the prison industrial complex, right? To police brutality. And the biggest issue, like you said, if this was just about hand to hand, 1-on-1, me with a knife, they going down every time. And they know that. So they had to come from the beginning of the actual, because before they got those projectiles and the actual amount of artillery to be able to come to blows with Africa, which took them hundreds of years to do, they wasn't about to go toe-to-toe with no Africans, period. So now, though, that we're on the other side of that, and now we're in the space where, okay, I can't just fight them. And nor do we have the proper training, the proper cultural environment, nor the actual amounts of artillery. Can our people, sure, we can get some folks that's going to jump up, and what's going to happen, right? They're going to get bombed, or just a firing squad's gonna come. So that could keep happening, but now you have to be willing to sacrifice, and there at least needs to be some type of plan in place that says, if I'm gonna sacrifice myself, y'all better damn near have that plan, so that every time we get a little further each time until our people make it. But that, I think, comes at least first with mindset, self-awareness, proper training, a cultural environment, and then garnering the resources to be able to do so. And that is not the current position. So yeah, I can see people saying, shit, I'm not about to do that. Because we don't have that construct as of yet.
So I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I think we're having different conversations, though. I think there's a difference between theory and strategy, right? And I'm thinking we're in the theoretical phrase stages of this construct or this concept. And I think the universe is forcing us down certain pathways where we're not even aligning it with training for what's to come, right? There's a unique push for gun ownership that's happening in the black community right now. Even if we just talk about gangs and gun violence in America with black boys, regardless of how you look at it, it's becoming an extension of their lives. You know what I mean? It sounds crazy, but it is. And it's fucked up how it's being used. But if you get outside of the confines of an inner city, you'll recognize that these young white children is leveraged. It's an extension of their life as well since forever. That they're using it different. They got a different education around it. It's a different level of acceptability.
There's a
you know
culture.
what I mean? It's a culture.
There's
around
a culture
it.
that's
they have
surrounding
a
it.
card and a shooting range.
Absolutely.
And
They got all the
their
shit
dad
that
and their
goes with
uncle.
that, right?
Yeah.
So and because of the narrative, it's viewed in a certain kind of way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even the black responsible parent that took their kid to the gun range would be viewed differently as the white parent that took their kid.
Right.
It's a very different energy, right? Because there's social narrative. But if we just look around us, it's certain signs of certain energies being developed naturally out of the universal design, I would assume.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But these young boys that I run into out here on the streets, man, they got, and I'm not saying I'm in support of this. I'm saying, but the social standard has pushed them to a place in space where it's like,
They just
I
become
don't got
warriors.
shit else to lose.
Yeah.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they really rocking out here like that. It ain't even, it's not I got a proclivity to violence. It's just, I don't got shit
There's
else to
nothing else.
lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at some levels, they right.
No, absolutely. So I'm with you on that. So now it's really that's why I say the specific word cowardice. Not the fact that there's a fear factor amongst our people, but the specific word cowardice to me is just a little oversimplified, right? Because that just denotes something different. You know, we ain't out on the yard, backyard, you know, outside with the kids, and then it's just one kid that's just like, no, I'm not gonna put, you know, I'm scared. You know, that's a different thing. So what I do think though.
Could we agree that, let's say, the power populace or the power demographic of the black community, the power class of the black community is cowards?
The power.
You're talking about the politicians,
The elite class of
millionaires,
black folks.
The elite class.
They may or may not be, or just.
Are they cowards or are they
or-
co-opted?
Or they're either co-opted or they're just satisfied.
No different.
Oh,
Their
that's
their bellies
you said
are not
comfort.
hungry.
You brought up comfort.
Yeah, they're
Are
very
they comfortable?
Why would
you
they
said
change
in the beginning
anything?
we don't change our space because of comfort.
Yeah.
So are they comfortable?
I think
I don't
they're-
know the answer.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm gonna say
instead of-
cowards.
Okay.
So
Right.
I think that they're comfortable, and I also think that they're not quite in the space, right? Because again, when you start thinking about antiquity and history or whatever, you know, these wars are usually led by a king or somebody in a place of power.
Well, go ahead.
And those particular, and they not only are just, they're not just some general. It's somebody that has the ear of the whole community in which they run. And they also have resources behind it.
Right.
So then it says, okay, now we can execute a power over some other location that we want to take. Our politicians ain't got that. And by a long shot, right?
Well, here's
They don't have that.
So I would say you think it's more cowardice than comfort. I think it's more comfort.
I think
it's a combination. I think it's a combination of it all. But I think in a similar area, Raoul Peck brings out, I think it's in the third part of the series. He brings out, and he was talking about at this point, he had moved to the extermination of the Jews by the Germans, right? Which, for all intents and purposes, would actually be white-on-white violence. Even though they don't use that term. I just find it funny that we talk about black on black all the time, but we don't use that term. But anyway, he talks about the fact that he brings up a drawing, a very sophisticated drawing of a gas chamber. And in the drawing, the different rooms, the flow of traffic, the whole 9 yards. And then he brings out the point that the extermination of people and the plans or the strategy is always done by the educated.
Mm-hmm.
It's always done by it's always the lawyers, the doctors, the the engineers, right? Because the pauper or the whoever it is on the streets is not designing a gas chamber. It's not designing a ship to put 300 people in the bottom of, right? It's not designing.
It has to be organized. You have to have a mind to be able to organize and think long term.
Right. But specifically the educated in these different,
which would be people who are normally educated who would have that ability.
Exactly. So he was going to the point of when we talk about our upper class or whomever it is, right? It's the schooling, the education, all of that furthers the cause of the king, the populace, the whole 9 yards. So that just came to me when you were talking about, say, the upper class and are they co-opted or are they comfortable, right? And I would say a part of it too.
The political leaders, but go ahead.
Political leaders, well, and then I just want to, because they're part of the educated class, right? Because the political leaders are lawyers who decided to go into this, doctors, people who deal in the upper echelon of government, but there's a whole training that goes on in order to carry out such sophisticated measures.
Absolutely.
Of oppression, right? So I think that's a part of it too. So, are people cowards? I would think that there's a certain part of that exists, but I think it's more co-opted comfort. And I think it's more co-opted comfort at the top of the...
And even in civilizations, you have wartime, you have peacetime, right? And like you stated, you have to have that space to be able to even design and prepare and strategize for the potential times that you may be at war. Can't do that when you're already struggling. And right now, our people are just starting to peek their heads out of a stressful conditioning, right? When you're stressed out, your mind is not free to think. You're not in the place of even creativity to even then go further and strategize. We have to kind of come from out completely under that first and get reacquainted with all of the awareness of ourselves and then the understanding of our environment, the resources that we have at hand, and the potential enemy that we have before us. And I also think, again, right, this is my personal belief, is that, right, we've talked about this before. We're in this position as descendants of enslaved Africans because of a covenant that went broke to even allow for the European to take its time and be able to colonize all of Africa and ship people across the Atlantic. So I think addressing that first will then really start to empower us, and then we'll be able to be open to gain all the awareness and start to come together for whatever the future may hold to bring ourselves back into empowerment, whether that is being us finding a new space, us establishing a space where we already are and defending that space, having to go, to war, or whatever that may be. Whatever our choice is, we'll have the space and the mind and empowerment to do so and to go for it. But yeah, we're still, coming out.
We don't have our heads above the water yet, so to speak. Right?
Yeah,
so
it doesn't even. I can't fight you from under the water
because I'm fighting for survival.
Yeah, right now I got to get out. I got to get up above, and then we can get to this space of, all right, now let's go ahead and do what we need to do to defend, protect, or gain new spaces.
So for the last couple of minutes, guys, I have a unique proposition, and it may be something, and I say it's unique because I have a personal out-of-the-box theory in terms of watching Exterminate the Brutes, Exterminate All the Brutes, the history. I definitely believe that there has to be all of this is internal, right? Everything that you we laugh about the fact that you can't submit an application for sovereignty.
Right.
Right. Like
Right.
that's just
Right.
that's crazy as hell, right?
Just
it sounds
forget about
good.
it. Just keep your ID.
It sounds good.
Just keep it. Don't worry about it. Go
It
back.
sounds
to the level of ignorance.
Yes, but it sounds
Yeah.
good in the basement meeting, right? Where you're like,
Yeah.
we're gonna all submit our applications for sovereignty. It's like, gee, that's the whole nature of not being sovereign if you're submitting an
Clear
application.
that you know
for
yourself
sovereignty.
for in those meetings.
No, I did. I was like, yeah, I'll skip that one.
'Cause y'all would have been like, wait, this ain't it.
Yeah, this is not it. So, but I have a personal theory that racism is actually saving the planet.
Yeah, I know you've said this before. And please restate this because I've forgotten.
I believe personal. This is
Yeah.
Sadeek's personal.
Yes.
Not the green side nor the WIIFTBP. Well, we are not responsible for the views of Sadeek. I believe that racism is saving the planet. And here's why. I'm going to go to, this is one of my favorite books, The Miseducation of the Negro. And this is written by Carter G. Woodson. And he says that Negroes who have been so long inconvenienced and denied opportunities for development are naturally afraid of anything that sounds like discrimination. They are anxious to have everything the white man has, even if it's harmful. Right? So that's the first part, and then I'll get to, right. So no matter what it is, we want democracy, we want KFC, we want stock market, we want inclusion into the marketplace, right? Whether it be, we haven't stopped to really assess whether it be good or bad. Now, this is Tom Hartman's assessment. Tom Hartman is a European, and this is his assessment of European culture and the position we're in today. Our problems derive not from our technology, our diet, violence in the media, or any one thing we do. Our problems arise out of our culture, our worldview. The reason most solutions offered to the world crises are impractical is that they arise from the same worldview that caused the problem. So the reason I state that racism actually is saving the planet, because I believe if melanated people had unfettered access to European culture,
Right.
it would destroy the globe at a faster rate than it's being destroyed now, because we don't talk about environmental, culturally linked issues that are actually destroying the environment. No matter what your color is, you got to have oxygen, you got to have water, you got to have air, you got to have soil and food. Even if you eat animals, you still got to have soil to grow food because the animals got to eat.
Yeah.
So either way you approach it, I believe that the racism for me denotes the wall, right, that is keeping a majority of the melanated people out of access to Western culture. And I believe if we had unfettered access, we would tip the scales of global destruction.
You already got on me earlier for making you define hegemony.
I'm not going to define anything. So I don't know what I said.
I won't make you define unfettered.
I'm not defining anything.
I just love it. You
Yes,
know,
yes,
dictionary
yes.
name is at it again.
Right.
Listen, I just want to say real quick, shout out to my girl Boosie. He's my soror, right?
Hey, what's up, Boosie? Where my popcorn?
Listen, you got your damn popcorn.
I did, but I asked all my Delta friends, where my popcorn?
You keep on with it.
Right.
Listen, she says, my sis Cassie is a smart gal.
Oh, Lord.
That's the only reason we read this.
That's the only reason, right? All these comments. It's 356 comments in here. But go ahead, Cassie's a smart
Holds her
girl.
own with the fellas. She makes us Delta Saras proud. Great job. Keep holding us down.
Oh, boy. Okay. Any other comments? Or
yes, there
Just that
are.
way.
No, just that one.
Let's see.
Why you-
Raymond, no, I think Gardis was saying many argue that Joseph Goebbels is the architect of the Nazi oppression. Goebbels is a PhD, an example of the educated being the strategist.
Got it. So what you think about racism having allowing people unfettered access and
it makes sense. We definitely right. Tucson talked about it earlier in regards to balance. There's a universal balance that always happens, right? People ask sometimes, why do roaches exist? Because God put roaches here.
Wait a minute, they're roaches?
Listen, so they're here because they contribute some kind of way.
They do.
No matter if we like it or not, or the extreme nature of Europeans, they're here because God put them here. And some kind of crazy way, at least in our perception, they bring balance to the globe, to the universe. We bring balance to the universe. And life would be boring if there wasn't conflict.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that. Right?
Okay.
And my pushback is that the European control both aspects of the spectrum. They control that lack of access that we have too. It's not about our desire. We still want the access. You know what I mean? So here they are on one end destroying the planet because of their greed, because of their scarcity, because of all that shit. And we're knocking at the door like, let us help you do this shit.
That's my point.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right? So they're already in the process. We just ain't agreed it would speed up the process. Right? But the only way to create that balance isn't because they say, hey, no, you can't come in. The real way to create that balance is to say, man, what the fuck is y'all doing? We not on what you doing. Because if they open the door and say, no, you allowed in, we're gonna act as they act. We're gonna
that's my whole point. That's my whole point. The barrier
happens.
The barrier is
Period.
Right.
So
I get it. But that still denotes a change in mentality for us as the balance to the conversation. Because again, they control both ends of the conversation at that rate.
Agreed.
That philosophy.
Yeah.
Right.
We allow you in. It's like them making the goddamn commercials today with the black woman and the white man. They're allowing us levels of access, right? And they're changing the mentality. They're creating a new narrative. Whether we know it or not, we sleepwalking right into the plan. So you start hearing conversations arise of our community. Well, baby, they who you love. You can love anybody. This is all new thought processes in our community, but they're controlling the narrative again. It's slowly walking you into ideas.
That
because
part
we
isn't
don't
new,
have
though.
our own idea, which is the main problem. Because we've been miseducation of the Negro. Going back to the power elite class of our people. They are fucking cowards because they was raised to be fucking cowards by the same narrative. It is what it is.
There is our own ideas are there. Period. And there's people like you, Sadeek, Maze, Ron, myself, all of our watchers that do.
Just for future notice, don't ever put me in a category.
I knew you was
So I knew that was coming, but I want to put
whether you like the thoughts or not does not matter. Actually, that makes the point even more valid. Is the fact that you have your own thoughts, the fact that Maze has his own thoughts, the fact that Sadeek has his own thoughts. That's what makes it amazing. That's the whole point within itself. We should not be having the same thoughts. It's a great thing that you all don't think the same way. That's the only way that life continues to happen, and our people do. It's about awakening it again. It's there already. And people before there was race is a new thing.
It's a construct.
It's a construct.
So for sure.
Before the European identified people as race, people were intermingling. Period. That's how it happens. That's how even different types of people were created, is because folks were intermingling at all times. Right?
Don't disagree.
So European don't control everything.
Based on power.
They don't control everything.
A construct
based on power.
Based on power.
So check this out.
Or
you all.
empower.
We have 1 minute. Ron has shaken his fist at me.
Yeah, I know.
I can't believe y'all really listen to Ron.
Yeah, I
Jesus.
know.
Ron, like,
Ron. Go ahead, Manager
if
Man.
I don't push the
Manager Man.
if I don't push the replay of the Maze Jackson show at 3 o'clock,
At
it's
3
gonna be
o'clock, the boss is
problems.
calling. You understand? But in all seriousness,
Yeah.
Cassie, want to thank you.
Thank you.
Tucson, my brother, want to thank you.
man.
It's the
Ron,
best way to go out.
I want to
Two on
thank
the team
you.
with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, you all, it has been a fabulous
Wait,
6
I
months.
gotta tell everybody, look at the pinned comment, follow our page, The Green Side of Things on Facebook, so you can keep up with Sadeek, myself, and everything that we got going and getting ready for us to come back in the fall. It right now.
Like the page right now.
I see 26 people that are watching from Facebook. I'm not looking at YouTube. I need
It's
everybody.
40 people on YouTube
and
right
so
now.
we got 66 people. I need 66 likes on the fan page now.
That's live people. 27 on Facebook, 40 on YouTube. We need you all to like the page. Yeah, that's what they're added together. Okay. We need you all to like the page. Ryan, just give me 30 seconds and we're going to shut it off. Listen, you all, it has been incredible.
It's been amazing.
We are going to not miss you because you're going to go to the Facebook page. Get in there right now. You're going to be able to keep up with us all summer. We're going to be doing some traveling across the United States, Africa, and the globe, and then we'll be back in the fall.
Hey, man, take me with you.
Hey, you can go, brother. You are always invited. So we're going to say this last time. We need you to like,
comment,
and share. And we need you, right, to stay on WIIFTBP Media all summer. We're going to miss you guys from the green side of things. It's your man, Sadeek.
And Cassiopeia.
And Toussaint sat in with us, and Hefe. And as we always say, we'll see you next time. Peace.